Two worlds. Yes, that's right, I not only negotiated the release of the Gox occupation, but I also got 2 whole uninhabited worlds out of the deal. How? Well, it wasn't easy, seeing as how I had to present myself before the entire cohesion. That was a task in itself, as dozens of representatives from each of the Unionite races were all staring at me. First of all, it was a nasty situation. Some screw-up didn't realize the same patch of territory we had our eyes on had already been claimed by the Gox Union. So when 2,000 colonists come down in full bodysuit, the Gox see it as a damn invasion force. After half of them are killed and the rest held hostage, I am called to the damn negotiating table. It was bad. I knew the Gox still didn't like humans after our first encounter, and the embassy reflected that. They clearly didn't even want us on the planet, as it was crappy, let me tell you. The food sucked, the services were terrible, and the rooms cramped and basically a poorhouse with gold-lined plates. Not the best position for me, as I was still deciding exactly how I was going to negotiate the release of 1323 or our folks from a union of 5 different races, all of whom despise us. A shame really, the Quixo women are kinda hot. Anyway, I'm getting carried away. So the embassy is crap, I established that much. But since I figured no speech I give could stir the hearts and minds, or whatever they use, to our position, so I started studying their political system more in depth. That was when I stumbled upon something very interesting. With it in mind, I started making additions to my speech. A lot of additions, in fact. When the union wants to negotiate something with a race outside the union, they do it in something called the cohesion. It makes them seem more intimidating when I'm speaking to their leaders and their delegates. The leaders don't say anything, but instead relay what they want to say through their delegates, which I find stupid because my translator picks up what they're saying anyway. By day, I step into the room where all cohesions are held. The Quixo delegate is looking really hot. Thank the Holy Spirit of Budala, my suit was covering my erection. They are all staring down at me as I arrange my papers and begin my negotiation. Naturally, they refuse like they always do, but I knew of a little thing called Outer's Plea, where an alien to the Union may do what we humans like to call a filibuster and talk endlessly about anything. The Unionites pride themselves on being master bullshitters, even so far as training themselves to withstand hours of useless jargon, but they have yet to meet me. The helmet works to my advantage, as it relays everything I say in a monotone drawl. This annoys the crap out of them as they realize what I'm doing, and that it means they have to sit down, shut up, and listen to me for however long I'm going to talk. I first explained the rules of human poker, a favorite pastime of mine, and then I linked that to the appalling conditions of the embassy. Suddenly there was my filibuster as I started going down the list of problems. Starting with living conditions, I talked for 3 hours straight about how hard it was for me to stretch my limbs in my room. The delegates were getting uncomfortable in their small seats. Next I went on and on about the comm service and how expensive it was. I would pause briefly for a drink, the delegates would look hopefully, thinking I was finished, then resume much to their dismay. 14 hours in, I am thanking the additions to my suit, injecting endorphins in me so I don't feel my legs cramping up. The delegates have requisitioned blankets, as even they realize that I am probably gonna go all night. As the night rolled into dawn, I stopped listing my complaints about food and moved on to complaining about the restrooms. For Unionites who had been consuming water all yesterday, it was torture. I started off complaining about the size of the toilet seat, how there was not enough liquid inside, how I could not find relief from the narrow pipes. Imagine then developing half-inch pipes for a full-inch arsehole. It was a brutal experience that I relate in grisly detail. I could tell that one or two were crossing their leg appendages, while I was grateful for the waste collection pouches in my suit. I was nearing the 24-hour mark when I started talking about the massive dump I took when the JERA delegate called for a break. Phew, that gives me time to write new material while they went to the bathroom. When they came back, I could see them slightly refreshed. But their hopes died as I dramatically took a long roll of paper and unrolled it, letting the bottom comically slide on the floor. Day 2. They had had enough. Just as I was about to go into detail how the mini-bar in my room had more poison than alcohol, they stopped me mid-sentence, not the delegates, but their leaders. They seemed much more willing to reopen negotiations just as long as I stopped talking. In less than an hour, our people were homebound and with 2 new worlds in our pocket. I thankfully slipped out of my suit for the scrubbers, the poor bastards. I took a long, gratifying shower when I had company, the Quixa delegate from earlier. Yes, you know where I'm going. She liked how I handled the cohesion, and how she always had a thing about humans and that mysterious armor we wear. I offered to show her that there was nothing to be afraid of, and she accepted a little too eagerly. Yeah, I banged her. And guess what, you know those headlines about us establishing an effective diplomatic relation with a Quixa? Replace that with effective sexual relations. Yeah. I banged an alien babe. I released 1,000 human hostages, got us 2 more planets, and made peace with an alien race with my penis, all in 1 week's work. But enough about me, how are you doing? Transmission from Chief Diplomat T. Ralphik to Chief Diplomat Gutter Barba. Ralphik is pending promotion. Author's name and link to original text is in the description.